A heavy rainstorm in southwest Montana on July 29, 2025, caused this landslide at the Bridger Bowls ski area, ripping new terrain through the mountain. Bridger Bowls' official response to this event read, "Climate change is increasing landslide risk in our area through changing precipitation, stronger storms, altered snowpack, wildfires, and warming. Challenges we can mitigate by reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Let's work together to stay safe and take action." Some comments to this announcement expressed excitement that the new terrain will be fun to ski once there is snow on it. Another user angrily asked, "Who wrote this nonsense about climate change?" While others fired back, "We have been losing snowpack for decades now, and you should face the facts." Skiing attracts a complex network of business interests, sports enthusiasts, nature lovers, and scientists. The only sentiment with which everyone seems to agree is pray for snow. Yet the fear of winter's demise extends far beyond the ski industry into what the loss of mountain snowpack will mean for the plants and animals, as well as for agricultural sites downstream.
As the author of several eco-adaptations of Shakespeare, I translate his plays to modern scenarios to foreground environmental issues. My most recent work adapts The Winter's Tale to the Rocky Mountain West. Entitled No Winter's Tale, this adaptation is designed to help audiences understand snow science, mountain ecosystems, and sustainable farming practices during our current and future era of climate change. My reasons for choosing The Winter's Tale go beyond the suggestiveness of its title. Shakespeare's stories about refusing to believe, about jealousy, about horrible loss, but eventually about restoration. The play's tragicomic arc offers the most productive genre for speaking about climate crisis. We do not need post-apocalyptic hysteria, but instead narratives that help us grapple with challenges, even as we hold on to a gritty, active hope in the face of tragedies. No Winter's Tale begins in the contemporary era at a ski resort. The first act focuses on Leo, the owner of the resort, his wife Hermione, a snow scientist, their teenage son Max, a talented alpine skier, and their family friend Paul, a climate scientist. Leo's jealousy of Paul is motivated not just by sexual rivalry, but by resentment. For his wife and their friends share a passion for science, from which Leo feels excluded. Hermione repeatedly tells Leo that climate models predict the imminent collapse of snow ecosystems, and therefore he needs to face grim facts about the future of the ski resort and adjoining lands. Max tries to negotiate the household's tensions not just by escaping to the ski hill, but by writing stories, which he reads to his mother. In Shakespeare's play, the moment of crisis comes when Leontes denies Apollo's oracle. The parallel moment in No Winter's Tale is caused by Leo's dismissal of the climate assessment on which Hermione and Paul have been working. Refusing to be convinced by scientific evidence results in terrible consequences. Immediately thereafter, Max dies in a skiing accident, and Hermione, still pregnant, is swept away in a massive wet slab avalanche. This particular tragedy is all too plausible, given similar avalanches at many skiing areas due to unstable conditions. According to the Montana Climate Assessment, in coming decades, extreme weather-related disasters, such as this flooding of the Yellowstone River in 2022, will become not the exception, but the norm. The tragedy in No Winter's Tale brings us to the brink of this terrible forecast for the future. Like Shakespeare's tragicomedy, however, No Winter's Tale changes direction in its second half, establishing a radical break in time and mood. The action shifts forward 25 years and takes us to an agricultural valley downstream from the mountains. During this quarter century, the region has suffered dramatically due to avalanches, floods, wildfires, and flash droughts. The resulting collapses of infrastructure have created a world of widening class gaps and frequent food insecurity. The second act of No Winter's Tale is thus not pastoral in the way that Shakespeare's Act 4 is, but it does follow the storyline of the baby, called Dita, who mysteriously survived and now leads a farm cooperative that uses drought-resistant heritage seeds to grow various grains. Dita not only makes strides in sustainable food systems, but she holds a community based on cooperation and regeneration. As part of this, she reads from an old story notebook full of legends that are as ancient and as adaptable as the grains she plants in the dry earth. Dita attracts the attention of Flor, the daughter of a big ag businessman who wants to destroy all competition in the seed market. When Flor's father discovers her involvement with Dita and the seed farm cooperative, he threatens violence. But the young women escape to the mountains, where they become close to Leo and Paul, who have remained at the former ski resort, planting trees to restore the ravaged ecosystem. Leo's deep grief finds solace in these new companions, but he is shaken when he notices the story notebook Dita possesses, the book that once belonged to Max, and suggests that, unbelievably, Hermione and Leo's baby may have survived. Dita then discovers a cave on the mountain where Hermione was swept away, and in a geological version of Shakespeare's statue scene, the once dead snow scientist and mother seems to emerge from the rock face itself. Given the emphasis on science throughout this adaptation, this pull toward the magic demanded by Shakespeare's ending may seem surprising, but it is a vital part of the narrative. In this respect, I am inspired by Amitav Ghosh's call for climate fiction that is not limited by realism, but instead stretches the boundaries of the imagination. The scientific and imaginative dimensions of the play can work together, as illustrated by two characters I have not yet mentioned, Time and the bear. This duo appears briefly at the end of each act. Time is an over-the-top Shakespearean abstraction, but Bear insists that she is, despite appearances, a literal bear. The greater Yellowstone ecosystem contains more grizzly bears than any region in the U.S. outside of Alaska, and they are both a keynote species and the subject of much controversy. The character in No Winter's Tale is inspired by a particular grizzly known as Bear 399. She became a media sensation because she had an unprecedented number of cubs whom she raised along the edges of the national parks. My bear character is, of course, not a dangerous predator, but instead a complex animal capable of understanding and even philosophizing about the failings of humans during this time of ecological upheaval. Her mothering nature and resilience inspired my decision to imply that she was the improbable rescuer of Dita. At the end of No Winter's Tale, it is the bear who leads Dita to the cave formation where Hermione is encased in the rock. Exasperated by humans' inability to perceive fully what is in front of them, the bear reveals the dynamic processes of all matter, resisting assumptions that the non-human world is also non-sentient, assumptions that have justified centuries of domination and extraction. The passage of 25 years in No Winter's Tale is inconsequential on a geological scale. Yet such gaps in time require us to consider essential perspectives about aging, loss, and transformation. This is the heart of the play's final conversation.
This is like an old tale.
An old tale.
You know, like a fairy tale.
Definitely no fairies.
Oh, but there was magic, though.
If you say so.
You have to admit, this will be the perfect story to go at the end of Max's collection.
He would have liked this story, I think. Especially because you don't know the end to it.
Well?
Well, what?
Tell me, what did happen? What did they say?
Very little.
Really?
No! Words weren't the point. There was speech in their dumbness, language in every gesture.
I see.
Do you?
Maybe. You asked me a while ago whether this was a world ransomed or just destroyed.
Yeah, that's a nice line from Shakespeare.
But what's the answer?
These people hung in the balance between joy and sorrow. They celebrated everything they had found only to mourn for everything that they had lost. For a quarter of a century, but much, much longer.
Will they be all right?
I have no idea. You're the one with the long view on things.
Only sometimes. I'm in the dark, truly.
Me too. Time to move on anyway.
Where will you go?
Back over the wildlife crossing to see how my big cub is doing, but mostly to look for food. It's been a long, hungry fall, and it's getting colder and wetter now. Winter, such as it is.
And thus time's winged chariot carries us forward from season to season.
Whatever. See ya, abstraction.
Okay, literal bear. Oh, but be careful.
Of what?
The roads.
I've lived my life where my ecosystem meets up with this human world. I've learned a lot. Maybe they have too. Maybe even enough not to destroy an old mama bear like me.
For those who know the fate of Bear 399, this ending seems ominous, for she was killed in a vehicle collision in October of 2024. And yet, more wildlife crossings that can prevent such collisions are being built every year, thanks to the tireless efforts of conservation organizations. Future paths of survival are not closed off for the grizzlies, and while we cannot recover everything we have lost, we can continue to build back our ecosystems if only we can use our strongest asset, adaptation.